What if the biggest problem with love today isn't that people don't know how to love, but that we've quietly started expecting love to do things it was never meant to do? Think about it. Why do so many relationships begin with so much hope, only to end with someone saying, "I thought it would be different"? It's a sentence we've all heard before, and maybe we've even said it ourselves. But different from what? Different from the love we imagined? The love we were promised? Or the version of love we've spent years building in our own minds without ever realizing it? Maybe that's the question we don't ask often enough. We spend so much time asking whether we chose the right person, whether our partner has changed, whether relationships are harder than they used to be. But we rarely stop to ask something much more uncomfortable. What if the problem isn't always the relationship? What if, without realizing it, we've slowly changed what we expect love to be? It almost happens without us noticing. We don't wake up one morning expecting perfection. It builds over time. We hear stories about effortless relationships. We watch couples who seem endlessly happy. We listen to people describe love as if it's supposed to remove loneliness, erase insecurity, heal old wounds, and make life feel complete. None of those ideas sound unreasonable on their own. In fact, most of them sound beautiful. But when enough of them come together, they quietly create a picture of love that no ordinary human being could possibly live up to. And that's where disappointment begins to creep in. Not because someone stopped loving you, but because they stopped looking like the person you imagined they would always be. They forget things. They become stressed. They get distracted by work. They have moments when they're emotionally unavailable. They misunderstand you. Sometimes they don't know the right words to say. None of these moments are unusual. They're part of being human. Yet more and more, ordinary human flaws are being interpreted as evidence that something must be wrong with the relationship itself. Maybe that's why so many people find themselves asking the same question after months or years together. Is this really what love is supposed to feel like? It's an honest question, but hidden inside it is another one that often goes unnoticed. Are we questioning love, or are we comparing our real relationship to a version of love that never truly existed in the first place? What's interesting is that most of these expectations don't come from arrogance. They come from hope. Every relationship begins with hope. You meet someone who makes you feel understood, and naturally you start imagining what life could become with them. The problem isn't hoping for something beautiful. The problem is that hope has a quiet way of turning into expectation, and expectation has a quiet way of turning into entitlement. Before long, we stop appreciating what someone chooses to give us because we're too busy noticing what they didn't. Love starts to feel less like two people discovering each other and more like two people trying not to disappoint each other. Every forgotten message means something. Every disagreement feels bigger than it really is. Every quiet day becomes a reason to wonder if something has changed. We begin looking at the relationship through the lens of what it's missing instead of what it's still holding together. It's a subtle shift, but once it happens, it's difficult to see the relationship any other way. Maybe that's why the beginning of love feels so different. In the beginning, we're fascinated by each other. We ask questions. We listen carefully. We overlook imperfections because we're still discovering the person in front of us. But as time passes, curiosity slowly gives way to expectation. Instead of asking, "Who are you becoming?" we begin asking, "Why aren't you the person you used to be?" Those are two completely different questions, and they lead to two completely different relationships. What's rarely talked about is how quickly appreciation disappears once something becomes familiar. The good morning messages that once made you smile become expected. The weekly phone calls become normal. The little acts of kindness that once felt thoughtful slowly become invisible because they happen so often. It's not that they stopped happening. It's that we stopped noticing them. Human beings have an incredible ability to adapt, and while that helps us survive, it also means we can become blind to the very things we once prayed for. Then something unexpected happens. The relationship begins to feel ordinary. For some people, that's the moment they start wondering if the love is fading. But maybe ordinary was never the enemy. Maybe ordinary is simply what love looks like after the excitement settles and two real people begin sharing a real life together. The excitement was always going to change. The question is whether our expectations changed with it, or whether we kept expecting the relationship to feel like the first few chapters forever. Perhaps the hardest part of love isn't finding someone. It's learning to see love for what it really is instead of what we imagined it would be. Not every relationship is meant to last, and not every person is right for us. But when every relationship eventually reaches the point where reality replaces fantasy, it's worth asking whether we're walking away from the wrong person or from expectations that no real person could ever satisfy. Love has never been just two people learning to understand each other. It's also two people learning to separate what they genuinely need from what they simply imagine love would always be. Those aren't the same thing. One helps a relationship grow. The other quietly places more and more weight on it, until even the strongest relationship begins to struggle under expectations it was never designed to carry. None of this means we should stop expecting honesty, respect, loyalty, kindness, or emotional safety. Those aren't unrealistic expectations. They're the foundation of every healthy relationship. The real challenge begins when we expect another human being to always know what we need, always respond perfectly, always make us feel understood, and always fill the spaces inside us that only we can face ourselves. That's a responsibility no one can carry forever, no matter how deeply they love us. Real love has never been perfect. It has always included misunderstandings, ordinary days, difficult conversations, changing seasons, and two imperfect people choosing to keep understanding each other through every version of life. Those moments aren't evidence that love is failing. They're evidence that love is happening between two human beings instead of two impossible ideals. So, are we expecting too much from love? There isn't a single answer. Some people will believe our expectations have finally become healthier. Others will believe we've slowly turned love into something no ordinary relationship could ever live up to. Both perspectives deserve to be heard. But before we decide that love has failed us, there's one question that's impossible to ignore. Are we disappointed by love itself, or by the version of love we've been expecting all along? Thank you for spending these few minutes with me. If this conversation gave you something to think about, I'd genuinely love to hear your perspective. Do you believe our expectations of love have become unrealistic, or do you think people are finally asking for what they truly deserve? Share your thoughts in the comments. Conversations like these become richer when different experiences come together. And if you enjoy honest discussions about love, relationships, family, and the questions we rarely ask out loud, consider subscribing. Until next time, thank you for listening.